This is the first interactive dashboard that's, in my opinion, ever been created that shows who's going to which mortgage company and why. Guys, I used Claude Code. So I used Claude Code to create what I wanted to see, right? This kind of data exists out there, right? Like you can go into some of the different data platforms and you can see companies, okay? And you can look over different periods of time, like how are those companies doing? And if you click into one, it's like, okay, yeah. So actually, I didn't see this yet. We're going to get over it or get into it. You know, CrossCountry Mortgage net gaining 10 loan officers, but losing $40 million annualized production. That's not normal for them, right? But this is now the link in the description below if you want to peruse this free report, right? Today, we're going to focus on the top 10 independent mortgage banks, brokers, and actual banks, credit unions, if you're into that kind of stuff. So what we're going to be focusing on here is really just helping understand on a weekly basis who is going to what mortgage company and why, okay? Again, nothing like this I've ever seen. To me, this is really helpful. I just want to understand trends. I'd love to see mortgage companies charted, which I created, and it's in an interactive link for you. It's actually going to, that's something that I'm going to reveal later. Again, I'm using Claude Code, doing some really cool shit, okay? Pardon my French. I'm excited about this because from the business development standpoint, this is the kind of stuff that I wish existed. So that way I could, you know, if you're trying to look at companies, if you are spending time like trying to attract talent, you're in recruiting, you want to know your competition, you want to pay attention, right? So this is not live yet. This is actually a work in progress, but we've got this and link in the description, right? Again, if you want to follow along with this, I am going to be getting access to the interactive all companies view. But for now, we're just going to do top 10. So in this video, I'm just going to dive in with you guys, the top 10 gainers and losers for the past, I guess you could say 2 weeks because I missed last week, right? So we're going to dive in with independent mortgage banks, top 3. We're probably just going to actually dissect the top 3 gainers and losers for IMB, then gainers, losers for brokers, and then banks. So let's get into it. Starting off at number 1. We can't really count Rocket, okay? Because Rocket, although they did absorb, they bought Redfin, and Redfin had bought Bay Equity. And so, yes, there are some purchase-based loan officers who, it's their own book of business, right? These are people getting their own referrals, right? But we can't really count them. So it's going to tweak the report. So this is not here right now. So really the number 1 winner for this past week is Guild Mortgage. Okay, so Guild Mortgage coming in number 1 with the most loan officers added. Now remember, this report takes into consideration what I call the ghost factor, which is from at IMBs, and below you'll see that this is the ghost factor for brokers. The actual numbers, right? Like if you click on a company and you look at right here, how many of the loan officers at that company actually produce, right? So there is a ghost factor, and you'll see the formula for it right here based on the size of the company, okay? So Guild Mortgage is a large company, so there's a ghost factor, right? Only 0.74 originate. So based on the average production, or is it median? I think we factored in median production. Yeah, median. And the ghost factor on each, they added 19 loan officers, but really only 14 should be producing. But based on the average production per loan officer, they should be adding $202 million of annualized production based on gaining 19 loan officers. So I always love seeing if the data is trending with that, right? So in the past week, oh, damn, it's pretty close. All right. I would consider that pretty close. Okay. So that makes me excited. It's doing an okay job, right? So gaining 20 loan officers for 202 million, losing 1 for 13. You can see the math right here. Okay. I'm going to look at past 2 weeks because we missed last week. So over the last 2 weeks, they're up 21 loan officers for $259 million annualized production. Over the last week, I'm only going to do this a couple times now. I'll probably only do it for the number 1 because remember, just because you added loan officers does not mean that you are adding production. Okay. Those are not necessarily the same things. So with that said, you can see here, if you wanted to count number of $10 million producers, it's kind of like an industry standard. How well is a company doing at attracting top talent? Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, usually go down to 9 million because I'll give it to them, right? Could easily be a couple of loans not in somebody's name, right? So that's pretty good. Guild Mortgage coming in really strong this past week, net gaining 19 loan officers. Okay. What I meant by the interactive, right? And so teaser here for you guys is in the all companies view, and I think there's still an error in here. Oh no, it fixed it. Okay, so I had Claude Code, I gave it a prompt recently to fix. It was messing up down here and like moving people around, and it was having section breaks, and it was not cool. So here's the entire ghost factor because now it's all mixed together. In the interactive, you can just turn off, right? If you don't want to look at them, and we are just focused on IMB. So I'll turn off all these types of companies, and I'll show you this in a second. But here's Guild Mortgage. Click on it, boom. We have data going back all the way to the end of January. And so you can see from right here, here's them charted out. how they've been doing with loan officer count and volume per loan officer, right? It actually has increased for Guild Mortgage from 14.1 million to 14.4, right? Small, but it can be significant, right? Because it's a trend. You can notice that some companies are not doing this. So they're adding loan officers. You can see the production right here, and pretty good. Okay, so that's awesome. Good job, Guild Mortgage. So let's look at number 2. So now we're going to hop in here, and number 2 is guaranteed rate. Okay, so guaranteed rate, adding 14 loan officers, ghost factor built in, 10 producers, should be $182 million of annualized production. But survey says, and I actually am working on getting access through some of these companies to get the data on the loan officers so I can actually get their production. And this number would actually be accurate because it would be based on, so, I will say this really quickly. This is the first ever time I built what I wanted, right, to see. Nothing like this I could find out there. I talked with a few of the data companies, and one of them copied me. I'm pretty sure they copied me. I actually saw this, Greg Schur, NFM Lending president. He put, if you're not being controversial, I don't know. I don't like throwing shade, but you know what? I'm pretty sure they copied me because a week after I met with one of their leaders and showed them this came out. So model match, I'm not upset. Just give me some credit, right? Imitation is the best form of flattery. So, all right, Guild Mortgage. So guaranteed rate. Damn, they actually beat it. They beat their average, and that's to me cool because, oh no, they didn't beat it. They came in on slightly under it, but they almost hit it. Damn, I did good. Me and Claude did good. Me and Claude Code did good coming up with like these averages, these ranges, okay? And factoring these things in to try and get a real number, okay? Because we don't have the data. So, but darn it, I'm going to do my best. All right. So Guild Mortgage, or guaranteed rate, a net adding 14 loan officers, 171 million. Okay. So, and I'm not going to dive into this. Man, I'm so tempted. Big group for Movement Mortgage, right? So if you want a Redder subscription, I've not used Model Match really that much before. Modex, I'm going to be getting access to Modex and hopefully getting access to being able to compare the data. I'm a fan of helping you understand like what is out there and useful for you. I've used Redder for a long time. I like the platform. I know one of the owners and some of the other team members there. It's a pretty good product. So with that said, guaranteed rate coming in and actually hitting the number, right? That is projected that they should be in here. So the one who didn't, we just saw, is CrossCountry, right? So CrossCountry is supposed to be coming in at number 3, but they're really not the number 3 because if you look at the last week, they lost almost $40 million of annualized production. So again, if you want to see it, I'm not going to show it this time. I'm going to let you click it. I'm going to let you decide what you want to see. Get a Redder subscription or one of the other platforms and go actually dive in, okay? And hey, maybe something like this will get built out in one of the platforms eventually, or I'll partner with them, right? So those are the top 3, but technically CrossCountry not really winning. So now let's look at losers, okay? So biggest loser this last week in terms of loan officers lost. 9 loan officers lost after you factor in the ghost factor. 7 producers should be $102 million of annualized production gone. That's pretty big, but is it? Or did they trim fat? No, they did lose production. It's close. It's getting there, right? Maybe, is that 70 to 80% accurate? Net loss of 9 loan officers, $85 million annualized production. Who'd they gain? Pilgrim Mortgage. Okay, getting someone from Pilgrim Mortgage. And then losing, looks like a group going to Cornerstone first. And yeah, don't know where this person is yet. So that'll probably surface at some point, okay? So not a good week for Fairway. Well, what about American Pacific Mortgage, okay? Net loss of 8 loan officers after the ghost factor. 6 should be $48 million of annualized production gone in 1 week. But is it? No, it's not as bad. So they gained 4 for 14.6 and they lost 12 for negative 41. Okay. So not a good week, right? Still not a good week. And number 3, Movement Mortgage losing. Oh yeah. And it says right here, right, what type they are, large. So you can just instantly kind of understand the ghost factor, right? So Movement Mortgage losing 7 after the ghost factor. 5 should be around $73.5 million of annualized production, but let us find out. By the way, that other window I keep opening is something I'm going to tease to you, and I'll do it right now after I finish Movement. Okay. So in the last week, oof, not good. Okay. It's worse. It was bad. We knew it was going to be bad. Well, it didn't have to be bad because sometimes companies just get rid of loan officers who aren't producing, right? It's like, hey, you're not working. You're not putting in the effort, right? Or sometimes loan officers have a call center, right? Like New American Funding, Loan Depot, Better.com, and they're getting rid of some people, or even Rocket. So net loss of 7 originators, losing $114 million of annualized production. So let me go to the interactive, right? And I'm going to show you, we want to do the inverse, right? Because we want to look at the losers. So we're going to look at loan officers game. We're just going to flip it, right? So there, boom, movement. We're going to look at Fairway, the number 1, and you can see what has been happening at Fairway on a trend, which is actually not a good trend. So over the last 15 weeks, they've lost 30 loan officers. Their average volume per loan officer is up 0.4 million. So that's a good sign. They're probably getting rid of some non-producers, right? So let's do this. Let's switch it to the chart view and just go back, 16 weeks, and we're going to flip this. I think it actually only works on 8 weeks because we're missing some of the data for certain companies. Yes. So, and you can actually just click the chart button now. This is what I wanted. Okay. This is what I've wanted, is to look at the companies, right? And if you want to combine them, go ahead. You combine, here's all the companies, sorted by over the last 8 weeks, who's gained the most loan officers and the projected increase in production, right? So out of 125 loan officers for New American Funding, they're number one in terms of loan officers gained. 90 ghost factor, not only 93. It should be $795 million annualized production. Well, now I want to look. I want to look real quick. So 6606. So this is, we're diving into a small rabbit hole. I try and avoid these, but we're going to make it quick because this is the point. This is something that's going to be coming out, and I want to make sure you guys have access. So what would that be? There is no 8 week, right? We can't do last 2 months. So we're going to first do month and see if that is trending in the right direction. 700, yeah. And then let's do quarter. Yeah, it's probably on trend. I would say that's on trend. Somewhere, in the last quarter, they're up 1.6 billion. Yeah, I could do the math and factor that in, but maybe I should make that. Drop a like, drop a comment, right? Like this video, please subscribe, drop a comment if you think that there's something be cool to add into this report. It's way better than 2 weeks ago when I did this, by the way, because 2 weeks ago, the data was like totally confusing, some broker data in with everything. So it was a mess. All right, now we're moving on to brokers. All right, so number one, and you can see there's some little icons in here, right? Some fun flair for companies that are on a streak. So Loan Factory, the thing about Loan Factory is their average production per loan officer is so low that, okay, let's see, 19 gained, 11 originate, after the ghost factor should be 11 originators and should be $26.6 million annualized production gained. I think I'm gonna have to switch this to week though, so we get the right thing. No, it's only 6.4 million. So 27 loan officers added and they don't do production. So, I mean, that's going to lower, right? Like they're going to lower their own production per loan officer. In fact, we'll look at it real quick. We'll just tab over here. We're going to just look at brokers. We're going to look at Loan Factory, and where's it been going? Well, I guess back 15 weeks, it's been going up, but that's going to come down now, right? Like the average production per loan officer is going to be coming down, but they add a lot of people, usually always. Okay, so Loan Factory, I mean, it's okay. It's 6 million is not that much. Okay, so coming in at, brokers. Number two, West Capital Lending, always on a growth tear, and usually the people coming over do a lot of production. Now, a lot of those people do leads, so it's going to be, wow, adding 13 originators and $166 million of annualized production. That's dope. Okay. Now, yes, you want to click on it and say, who are those people and where'd they come from? Because some of those people, again, doing leads. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm not going to say one's wrong. So interesting, week for West Capital Lending, a great week. And of course, get a Redder subscription link in the description if you want it. Get a subscription link in the description. I thought I got my tongue tied and said something wrong, but nope, that was just the words. Okay, so eMortgage Capital adding 13 originators. Their ghost factor is pretty, you can see the ghost factor right here. The ghost factor at these companies, at brokers, is a lot higher, right? There's a lot more people who don't do loans, even a loan a month, right? So they're not full timers, which is to be expected. At a broker, there's not like overhead. You're 1099, right? So you're not, some brokers actually do W-2 their employees. It would depend. Most are 1099. Okay. So wow, great week for eMortgage. It's supposed to be 67 million and it's 97 million. So wow, adding 18 for 140 million, losing 5 for 42. That's actually, losing some good people, but adding a lot of good people, right? So eMortgage Capital having a great week. All right, losers, Saxton Mortgage. Is this actually a broker, or is this a gap in the data again where it's looking at, wow, damn. Yeah, and it was supposed to be 101, net loss of 14, ghost factor 8, it should be 20 million. Or sorry, 101 million, and it's 155 million. It's pretty bad. Wow. Okay. I'm just going to quickly scroll down. We can tell if they're a broker because of where they send their loans. Yes, they are a broker because they're a broker correspondent. They're doing a lot of their business on their own warehouse lines. That's what that means. They have their own warehouse line, non-delegated. But UWM is their number two. So you can see that they do a lot of business, half their business, more than half their business with UWM. So not a good week for Saxton Mortgage, losing 14 originators to eMortgage Capital. Ooh, There it is. There's the trend. I'm not going to do that for the other brokers because we're going to try and keep this more concise. The mortgage link. Okay. So usually the losses on the broker side are not this big. I would say this is the big swing, right? Is in terms of the number of loan officers lost by one company. And you can see the drop off. Like usually, and in past weeks, this has been, you can go back to previous videos, right? The number of loan officers lost is not as drastic, and it goes immediately to 3. So sure, we'll look. We're gonna follow the process, and we're gonna look at the next 2. So mortgage link, net loss of 3 originators for 20 million. Ooh, that's spot on. And then CMS Mortgage Solutions. Remember ghost factor, right? So these are both small companies. So they have, their ghost factor is actually identical to large. It's medium that has a better or not as bad ghost factor. So we're looking at CMS Mortgage. It's flat. That's like 1 loan. Okay. So anyway, those are the gainers and losers for mortgage brokers and banks and credit unions. I'm not really going to dive into this unless there's a company I see right off the bat that's like, okay, they operate more like an IMB, because again, most of the people at these companies, at the banks and credit unions, it's not their own book of business. A lot of it is referred to them. They don't even make the same comp, right? Because if you don't have a past client database, if you're not bringing in your own business, then they're not going to pay you as much, right? Because it's kind of being afforded to you, right? So, I'm going to quickly show you guys the loan originator ascension study. So this is live. This is I'll put a link in the description, ascensionstudy.ascendantpartners.io, and you can take this survey. We are actually going to be presenting this survey or study. This is going to be a legit research study that I am doing, first of its kind. Me and Claude did a lot of research, and I can't find anyone who's ever focused on trying to understand what are the decisions that originators make that actually help them grow to higher levels of production. This is going to be a live reveal at Momentum Builder. So Momentum Builder Conference, October 6th through 8th in Dallas, Texas. Go ahead and you can Google it. Come on the page. There's a link right here. I'll have a link in the description for that as well. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, helps the algorithm, right? And I'd really appreciate getting this in front of more people who deserve this kind of data and information, right? Just so you can be informed. And please leave a comment if you have a suggestion, something that I could do to make this better for you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.